Howdy, cowpokes, and thank you for joining me in today's roundup. May I introduce you to the Dolly Parton, the patron saint of country music and the godmother to Miley Cyrus. When we think of Dolly Parton, we might think of her hit song Jolene or Hannah Montana for obvious reasons, but there's so much more to her. To fully capture her legacy, we'll be going over her childhood, her greatest career accomplishments, and her Southern hospitality. Dolly Rebecca Parton was born on January 19, 1946, in Locust Ridge, Tennessee. She was one of 12 kids, and they all lived in a tiny cabin. If you couldn't tell, they were dirt poor, so her dad worked several jobs like tobacco farming and construction work to make ends meet. Robert was said to be illiterate, but Dolly still regarded him as one of the smartest businessmen she's ever met. Now, her first introductions to music as a kid was from her family, like her mom and her uncles who all sang and played guitar. She also played at her church and learned lots about music there. She was so excited to make music that she made her own guitar out of an old little mandolin. And when her uncles saw how serious she was about making music, they gave her her own guitar. At 5, she wrote her first song called Little Tasseltop, and at 10, she started performing professionally. She first appeared on local TV and radio shows in Knoxville and then made her Grand Ole Opry debut 3 years later. The Grand Ole Opry is regarded as country's most famous stage and is also the longest running radio TV show in history. So it's impressive that she had this opportunity at 13. Determined to making it big, she moved to Knoxville right after high school. And on that note, Dolly has a lot of tricks up her sleeve, and her career proves it. Like mentioned before, she had her first shots of the limelight at the young age of 10. From local TV to prestigious country stages, this was only the beginning of an icon. One of her most notable hits is her album Jolene that was released in 1974. So, have you guys ever wondered who Jolene was? Who was trying to steal Dolly's man? Well, it was none other than a flirty bank teller. According to NPR, Dolly's husband had been spending too much time at the bank talking to a redheaded bank teller. So Dolly did what she had to do and got rid of her and put her feelings into song. And that's how the song we all know and love, Jolene, was born. In 1980, she starred in her first movie comedy, 9 to 5, which was a hit, and then, of course, so was her song 9 to 5, which quickly dominated the Billboard charts. Then, her next big movie gig would be in The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, which debuted in 1982. This movie helped popularize her song, I Will Always Love You, written on the album just mentioned before. Whitney Houston gave the song even more recognition for her R&B rendition, and her cover made a record-breaking 14 weeks on the Billboard charts. In 1986, however, she decided to bring her success back home and opened up her very own theme park, Dollywood, of course. It was built in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, just miles away from her hometown. And on that note, Dolly Parton has a heart full of love and has done an abundance of good deeds within her lifetime. After opening Dollywood, she founded the Dollywood Fund, which aimed at reducing dropout rates in her home county. According to the Imagination Library, the effort worked and the dropout rate fell from 36% to only 5%. Then Dollywood debuted a 30,000 square foot aviary that was managed by the American Eagle Foundation. This led to Dolly receiving a partnership award from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services. Then she created the Imagination Library that was dedicated to her dad since he was illiterate. The program distributes books to kids in all over the world, free of charge from the time that they're born till their first day of school. Recently, Dolly donated $1 million to fund the Moderna vaccine in order to fight COVID-19. So I think we can all thank Dolly for literally saving the world. As you can see, Dolly is very passionate about helping those in need. And recently, she had some strong opinions about the BLM movement. According to NPR, she said, "Of course Black Lives Matter. Do we think our white little arses are the only ones that matter? No." As you can see, it's very important to take our elders' words for consideration. Before we say our goodbyes, I think we need an encore. Dolly's childhood story is one from rags to riches, and her natural talent and stage presence was able to catapult her to success. Dolly has done it all and can proudly say that she's released over 51 albums and written over 5,000 songs. These days, she's dedicating her time to helping those in need and is a great example of putting money where your mouth is. I hope you were all able to learn a thing or two about a cultural icon. Depending on who you are, country might not even be your thing. I know it's not mine, but you can't help but admire a lady with hair like that. And with that, ladies and gents, is the end of our roundup. Yeehaw.